it is small details.
Absolutely crucial. How much can you prepare for that? What difference can you physically make other than your reaction to the lights?
Yeah, obviously you try to awaken your reactions always on Sunday, and before the race start we have certain tools to practice the reactions and try to be fully aware and awake and focused. And then also it's all about trying to maximize the toll into turn 1 and again into turn 4.
So Valtteri, sorry, I need to do the first question again. We had a small audio issue. So yesterday was also close in qualifying, less than a tenth between you and Lewis. You had time to look at the data now and understand where you could have made up that time.
Yeah, I think Lewis had a bit more of a toe, so on the straight lines I was losing a tiny bit. There was a couple of corners, I think Les Mossy was a bit quicker, but then some corners I was quicker, so small details.
Always a new day, new opportunity. This championship battle, of course, is looking like very much down to the two of you. You could really do with a win here today. You know that more than anyone else who's a fan of the sport. So what is your strategy? Is it changing now from your early races that you've got to take more risks?
Yeah, I definitely can take more risks, because, if I don't get those wins, then, that's over, that's it. And for me personally, it doesn't really make much of a difference if I'm second or third in the championship. But of course, we're still going to be continuing racing with respect, but racing hard for sure. So if there's an opportunity to take, I'll definitely need to take those.
Okay, well, we wish you luck. And now maybe a few words in your own language, please.
Kaikki valmiina kisaan. Mä uskon, että lähtö tulee olla aika tärkeä tänään, että taktiikan puolesta. Niin mä uskon, että aika moni vetää yhdellä stopilla, niin toivottavasti saadaan hyvä lähtö siitä kärkeen. Mutta jos ei, niin sitten pitää koittaa jotain tehdä eri lailla kuin tiimikaveri, joko rengasvalintojen kanssa tai muuten. Mutta eiköhän tästä tule hauska päivä ja koittaa nyt hoitaa homma himaan.
Thank you.
Kiitos.
So just joined now our pole sitter, Lewis. Great to see you. You're standing there.
Are we supposed to have 2 meters distance?
Yeah, 2 meters, exactly. We're fine with the mask. Look, it was great to see you there, just a moment of thought looking at your car. Can you share those thoughts with our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at all the great people that I get to work with and just feeling incredibly fortunate. And, I look at this car and I think it's such a work of art. And it's just very humbling when you think about all the guys back at the factory who, I was just spending time in the garage just now, just looking at all the small details that perhaps people don't pay attention to. And I'm one of the only two that get to drive it, so I feel very grateful.
Now, I can almost remember what it feels like to drive a Grand Prix car, but nothing as good as this car. When I watched the pole lap, the commitment and speed and turn into some of those corners, can you describe at all what that might feel like to someone sitting at home watching?
I don't know. I don't know how I would explain it, but it is quite phenomenal that today, how late you're able to brake to all these corners. You've got to have full commitment and belief in the rear end. It's going to stick with you. And you can't be too aggressive, but you've also got to be relatively aggressive to get it to the apex. It's crazy how deep we have to go into these corners, like the last corner, turn 11. The speed we go through there now, and you have a small dab of the brake and a lift, and then back onto the power, hoping you don't run wide. So and what you don't see on TV is the G-force that we're pulling. It's higher than ever the faster we go. So it's definitely throwing me around quite a bit.
Well, you don't look like that when you're driving the car. You look super smooth. Now, putting it forward to the race this afternoon, how much preparation do you do for your start? Do you do visualization, or do you just feel it as the lights go out?
I definitely don't just feel it, because I've tried it in the past and it didn't work. And also I can't really tell you how much work I did before. But nonetheless, it's not something I don't just get in, and there's been a lot of work already this morning talking about strategy, just going over all the different scenarios, and there's a lot of different things that can happen, from lights out, turn 1, 2, turn 4, 5, safety car, restarts, tire temperature that you need for the start, how many burnouts you're doing, what engine setting you're going to be in. Obviously we're going to be in 1 now. Brake balance. There's a huge amount of things I need to remember, including, as I said, strategy. So I spend a lot of time looking over that and studying that before the race.
Well, thank you for your time. We'll let you focus on that now.
Cheers, man.
All the best.
Thank you.
Right, well, I'm down here at Ferrari at the moment. Give me those back, give me those notes. Right, Q1, bit disappointing for you, but you popped down to Parabolica to have a look at the track. What were you looking at? What did you find out?
Well, obviously by that time it was Q3, and it was impressive. You know, they have the stand just above the track. Impressive to see the cars from the outside so close. Normally we don't get the chance, so obviously if I had a choice I'd rather be in the car, but what did I see? I saw the cars incredibly fast, and yeah, it's as I said, it's impressive from the outside. I mean, it is impressive from the inside, but it's also nice to see it from the outside.
Another thing that's impressive as well from my side, you seem to have bought a red 5, not the white 5, but the red 5 of Nigel Mansell. What's that all about? Tell us.
Well, it's no news really. It's been a while now, but I like the history of the sport. I like the old cars. I like the old drivers.
Yes, back in the day.
So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to have a go in it.
Yeah. And when do you think you're going to be able to get it out?
Well, not this year. I think this year obviously is very busy, but yeah, probably looking at next year.
Okay, a few words in your own language.
Ja, ich glaube, die Situation ist im Moment sehr schwer für uns, aber ja, wir versuchen trotzdem das Beste draus zu machen. Ich weiß nicht, ob heute Punkte drin sind, auf jeden Fall ist das das Ziel. Wir werden alles geben. Der Speed, ich glaube, wir werden uns schwer tun, aber vielleicht können wir mit der Strategie ein bisschen was anders machen und dann lassen wir uns überraschen.
Okay, thanks. Charles, obviously 13th on the grid. You can go, yeah, you're done. Charles, 13th on the grid. But tell us about the track, because obviously the history of this temple of speed, the history of Ferrari being here, the history of you winning here as well. What is this track like to drive on? How brilliant is it?
It's a special place for the whole team, obviously, because they are all at home. Special place for me, as it was a very special win last year, and a special track too, because the speed around this track is very, very impressive, especially with these Formula 1 cars. Definitely quick in the straights, but mostly in the corners. It's pretty special, that second sector. I love to drive around it. Yeah, starting 13th today. It's going to be pretty difficult, but we'll give our best.
Yeah, well, everybody was talking about qualifying slipstreaming. Now, for the race, obviously, where you're 13th, is that something you'll be able to use to get yourself up into those points?
It depends. Sometimes you can use it, but sometimes you're also in the unlucky situation where you are in a train of cars, everyone has DRS, and then it's very, very difficult to drive. Or to overtake, sorry. So yeah, it's not going to be easy, I think.
Right, and a few words in your own language.
Week-end difficile pour nous. Ça va pas être une course facile aujourd'hui parce qu'il nous en manque un petit peu encore dans la ligne droite. Et pour dépasser, ça va être compliqué, mais bon, on va essayer de faire un bon départ et ensuite on verra ce qui est possible après le premier tour.
Down to Red Bull Racing. Max, it was always going to be difficult on this circuit. You weren't able to get yourself as best of the rest, as we've seen in some other races. What can you do from your grid slot fifth?
Well, try to go back to third, that's the goal. Mercedes is a different level, of course, this weekend, so yeah, we'll try to do that, but a bit difficult to say at the moment where you're going to do it, like at the start or through strategy, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we have quite a good fight.
Now, strategy, of course, is where the opportunity lies. Would you be looking for safety cars, something like that? You know, just luck of the racing gods, or do you think you've got the underlying race pace?
I don't mind. A bit of a safety car or just pure pace. I think, yeah, we have a good chance of fighting for third.
Yeah. You have got a sea of race fans out there who all speak in your native language, so can you give us a few words in Dutch, please?
Ja, was natuurlijk niet echt het meest positieve weekend, maar hopelijk dat we gewoon weer voor het podium kunnen meevechten. En dat is dan natuurlijk de derde plek. En ja, daar gaan we voor.
Alex, 9th place, but the actual gap to Max is probably closer than it has been. You've matched him in the first and I think the last sector, just a little bit away in the middle, if the timing sheets that I saw were correct. So on one hand, not the perfect grid slot, but you must be quite happy with your own personal development.
Yeah, obviously it's just very close out there, so P9 is not really where we want to be. But it's been a pretty smooth weekend from FP1, already feeling pretty good with the car. But as I said, it's tight out there, and obviously the the Renaults are racing points and the McLarens are going to be pretty close with us.
Now you have the opportunity to analyse all that data. The number crunchers come up with what they believe the underlying race pace will be. So in previous races, Red Bull have been, let's say, next up to Mercedes. Can you be that again today, or do you think that McLaren and Racing Point can be in front of you?
I think it will be close. We might have a little bit more pace than the other cars, but the main thing is that if it's the DRS train and it's just one of them, you know, everyone's got that 1 second, 2 second gap to each other. It will be hard. You need them vulnerable. You need them by themselves to do the overtakes. So we'll see. I think today will be looks like to be a one-stop for most people, and so hopefully we can do something with that.
Now, we've just spoken to the Mercedes drivers, and you know, Valtteri has got one of the toughest gigs in Formula One, being alongside Lewis. You're definitely up there again with tough gigs. In terms of what you're learning from Max and how you're developing this team, what's to stand out for you? Where are the areas you need to work on?
More just about the confidence, really, with the car itself. I think that's where Max can pretty much drive the car, whether it's doing whatever it is. So I say, yeah, mainly that. Race pace seems a bit stronger than qualifying pace in general as well, so it has a tendency to shift towards qualifying, where we need to do a bit more work. But it's just chipping away. Obviously, it's a few things. It won't come overnight, but it will just chip away. And as I said, Spa was a bit better, Monza's better again, so hopefully we can keep this momentum going.
Absolutely. Well, wish you luck for the race.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Well, I'm down at McLaren. I've got Carlos Sainz third on the grid, sixth for Lando Norris. Wow, guys, that must have felt good. You must feel good for today as well, yes?
Yeah, very happy. I mean, it's definitely been a good step forward compared to last year. You know, the car feels much more on the sweet spot this weekend. It feels like the low downforce package is working as it should, and it's allowed us to put together a very strong qualifying, which puts us in a very strong place for the race. No? So let's try and put it to good use and score some good points today.
Yeah. What about you, Lando? Because obviously it was very tight in that qualifying session itself. It's disappointing in some ways to be sixth, but it's not a bad position to be, is it?
It's not. I mean, especially here in Monza, you can do some overtaking, and yeah, fair play to Carlos. You know, his lap was 1/10 better, but 1/10 better here, and yesterday was 3 positions. So, of course, a little bit frustrated, like any driver would be. But at the same time, looking forward to today. I think we have a good opportunity to go forward and make up for yesterday.
What's the vibe like in the garage? It must be electric at the moment, because the season so far has been so good. Yes, you as the drivers have done a great job, but your mechanics and everybody, engineers, they've done a good job for you as well, haven't they?
It's good, and it's still rising. You know, it's been a good 2 years for us in terms of developing us as a team, and not just having 2 different drivers, but developing the car, developing the mechanics, the engineers, and creating this harmony within the whole team where everything kind of begins to work better and everyone works better together. And we're starting to see more and more of that paying off. So it's good to see the mechanics are happy, they're working hard. But we of course need to continue this development and keep improving even more.
Yeah. And Carlos, obviously being third, that's where you want to finish the race. But you've got Max behind, you've got Sergio Perez, who's normally very good with his tyres. You must be a little bit concerned with them, or do you feel, we've got enough in our back pocket?
Yeah, I mean, no secret that the Verstappen and the Renaults and Checo are definitely going to be strong. Looking at the race pace of Friday, they definitely look a bit stronger than us on race pace, so it's going to be difficult to keep them behind. But the target is to stay ahead for as long as we can and hold on to it. And if they pass us, let them pass us in this strategy with the pit stops or making their life very, very difficult on track. So, yeah, I think we have a good chance of holding on, but that Red Bull today is going to be very quick. It's normally the only car that manages to follow the Mercs in the race, and for us that is pretty much impossible, so let's see.
What about you two guys? Of course, you get third position. You must have been really annoyed. Is your friendship still good? Because you seem to be the best pairing in the paddock for a little bit of fun. Did you have a little dig at him?
Of course, we always do. You know, we have fun, but at the same time, we want to beat each other more than anything. And of course, there's times when we disagree and don't get along as teammates do. But also in the opposite, we want to help the team and we want to get better results. And I think he wouldn't have got P3 yesterday, and I wouldn't have got P6, and we wouldn't have done what we did over the last few weekends and this year if we didn't work together in such a way and develop the car throughout last year. So Of course, I'm frustrated and annoyed, so I need to try and make it up for today. But yeah, it's all part of it.
So I guess you're not friends when the visor goes down, eh?
Not when the visor goes down. What we do have is a lot of respect for each other, which I think is the key. When you're good teammates and you get on well with each other, you know that the other guy in the same car than you is your rival, is actually the guy you want to beat the most, but at the same time, the guy that you need to respect the most on track. No? And I think we have that right balance. Lando has had very good moments also this season, and I had to take it in the chin and congratulate him and actually be happy for him and the team. So yeah, we're just sharing good moments together. Some days he will have his good days, and some days I'll have my good days. But the key is to keep that respect and to keep that good momentum going for the team and for ourselves.
And a few words in your own language.
Wow, let me think about that. Creo que ayer fue un día muy importante y muy bueno para mí. Creo que sobre todo tenemos una muy buena oportunidad de conseguir buenos puntos, pero hoy creo que va a ser otra historia. Hoy vemos que los Red Bull y los Renault van a tener mucho ritmo de carrera, quizás un poco mejor que el nuestro. Pero bueno, el objetivo es hacerlo lo mejor posible, intentar mantenerles detrás y ver dónde acabamos al final, que será una carrera divertida.
So with the Renault drivers, Daniel Ricciardo, first of all, off the back of Spa, I really thought that this would sort of carry that momentum into Monza. Now I know it's close, but you're the wrong side of that group, aren't you? So did you look back at the data and go, it got away, or was that absolutely everything that could be taken from the car?
It was close, as you said. I mean, there's always, I wouldn't say it was the best lap I've ever driven in my life, so it's, you know, there's always a bit there. Was there enough for third? Not yesterday. It was a decent lap, and yeah, maybe you know, could have got Lando there. He was a little bit in front, but I think beyond that, the top 5 was hard to crack. But yeah, I think it's everyone lifted their game, and obviously we're still there, but it's just we lost that little extra tenth, and the others found it yesterday afternoon. So unfortunately, that hour session was probably our most, or at least competitive all weekend, but we'll be all right today.
So race pace wise, where do you think you'd lie relative to that group?
I mean, I feel like we've got a little bit more, but it's once everyone's in the DRS, it's going to be such small margins. So I think obviously first lap's important, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be some shuffling, and I hope there is.
All right, well, I hope the shuffling works for you. Be amazing. Good luck in the race.
Thank you.
Moving on to your teammate Esteban. Now, it didn't make the top 10, but that opens up other opportunities and strategy, and also this first lap can get a bit messy. So what's your thoughts ahead of the Grand Prix?
Yeah, exactly. I think it wasn't the best day for us yesterday. Obviously not the pace that we wanted, but as you said, it's very, very close, you know, all together, and I don't think we got the maxed out of that Q2 run. But you know, that's past. Now we are looking for the race, obviously a bit open up on strategies. There isn't much you can really do here on strategies, but there's plenty you can do on track. So it should be an exciting race, and obviously it's a very tight first corner, very tight turn 4, so plenty of opportunities there.
What is your mindset when you go into knowing the first corner can be so tight, that concertina effect? Are you just going to, as the doors open, put your nose in there, or are you going to sit back and let the carnage unfold?
Well, it's not all in or out, you know, we still need to finish the race, but no, I mean, it's going to be, of course, important to be aggressive. The aim is to finish in the points, so definitely going to try and do that today.
Okay. Now, a few words in French for your home fans.
Bien sûr, ça n'a pas été une journée facile hier. Je pense qu'on n'a pas maximisé notre potentiel en Q2. Il y avait un petit peu plus qui était possible, on aurait pu se qualifier dans le top 10. Mais voilà, ça c'est pas grave, c'est passé maintenant. On va partir avec, bien sûr, des pneus plus frais que les autres. On a le choix aussi des gommes, donc ça va être intéressant de voir ce qu'on peut faire, bien sûr. Je pense que l'important, ça va être de gagner des places au départ, essayer de bien se positionner. Il y a plein de choses qui peuvent arriver ici, ça double, donc voilà, on va essayer de remonter.
Well, now down at Alpha Tauri. I've got Pierre Gasly in front of me, 10th position after qualifying. We've been talking about you so much in recent times. You know, you've really sort of done some brilliant qualifying sessions. A little bit disappointed with 10th maybe?
No, I was still positive to be in Q3. We knew here it's pretty tough with the slipstream, new engine regulation. We knew, yeah, it will not be an easy one. So happy to be in the top 10. Obviously, it's so tight in the midfield. It would have been nice to be 2 or 3 positions higher, but that's what we get now. So I think we have a strong race car. We've had some strong races recently, and I hope we can have another good one this afternoon.
Yeah, because you're right in the middle of that pack. It's going to be really tight for you going into turn 1.
Yeah, exactly. I think the first of all, most important is just to make it in lap 1, hopefully get some positions. But yeah, we're right in the middle. We know turn 1 braking is always a bit messy, but yeah, if we can get through it and make a couple of positions there, that would be nice.
Yeah, because it seems like it's going to be a one-stop race, but you've got a good race car that will enable you to sort of pick your way through. Where do you think you'll be able to end up at the end of the weekend?
Yeah, I believe pretty much everybody in the top 10 is going to be on the same strategy. As you say, it's an easy one-stop, so I think we'll have to find a way to get some positions on pure pace. We won't be able to do a different strategy or anything like this. So yeah, I think it could be quite exciting. Obviously, we have a very long straight, hard braking, and we'll have to send it a couple of times in turn 1, but yeah, quite looking forward to that.
And a few words in your own language.
Oui, du coup, on part en 10e position. C'était une bonne qualif, on va dire, de faire dans le top 10. Donc non, maintenant, on va essayer de continuer le bon week-end. On a une bonne voiture, on a eu des bonnes courses récemment, et on va essayer de se bagarrer pour aller essayer de chercher quelques points cet après-midi.
Danny Kvyat warming up. Is that the warm-up for the race, or is there a little bit more coming?
Yes, it's the special stretching, you know. You can learn a lot from that.
I think so. 11th on the grid, happy with that position, right behind your teammate?
Well, I mean, it's a good position to start the race from. It's a competitive position. We can fight for points from there. The only way is the way forward from there on.
Yeah, and what about, who's your biggest worry with the pack that probably is in front of you going into, probably towards turn 1?
We will try to, you know, it's going to be a long race, not only about turn 1. It's going to be, we're going to try to fight 3 or 4 cars in front of us, you know, on the pace. We will see if we can manage to stay with them and perhaps try to overtake them on track. Let's see. On this track, you can try to stay close with the long straights, and we'll do our best.
Yeah, and give us a bit of an idea of what this track is like to race, because, you know, it's the temple of speed. We've got these wonderful high speeds we got. What's it like in the cockpit?
It's also a track to race, but with modern cars, you know, every track you go, as long as there are corners, it's a challenge to follow other drivers with so much downforce loss. It's quite hard with this car, so hopefully it will be better in the future.
What's the most difficult part of driving around this circuit?
Is it most difficult?
Yeah. Braking or?
I'm not sure. I think the higher speed stuff is more difficult because then you follow other cars, you lose more downforce. So it's quite challenging. You have to stay behind the others there.
And a few words in your foreign language.
Yes. Мы стартуем сегодня с 11-й позиции, поэтому мы надеемся пробиться вперед и будем делать все возможное, чтобы оказаться в очках.
So Racing Point and Lance Stroll. So P8, it was tight in that qualifying session. It could have gone either way, but you were relatively happy with your session?
Yeah, I was. I mean, it was very tight, and I definitely think there was more on the table. Sergio was a quicker man, though. I don't think I could have matched him yesterday, so he really did an outstanding job. I definitely think I could have been a couple positions higher, but today's a long race, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, today is where the points are, and this team has definitely been scoring plenty of those. So what's your realistic expectation for where you can get to?
I mean, I think we can fight the cars in front of us. So hopefully, yeah, we pick up some good points today.
looks like a one-stop race. Not really any benefit for you in going to two unless you've got, you know, safety car or something like that. So it does make it quite a long afternoon, tyre preservation.
For sure. I mean, we'll have to look after the tires and you know, try and get a good start and make up some good position in the first lap.
Okay, well, we wish you luck with the race.
Thank
we'll leave you to it. We'll join your teammate Sergio. Good qualifying yesterday, 4th place. You seem to be comfortable with the car on this circuit, so gives you good confidence for today.
Yeah, I'm very confident, very optimistic for today. I think we have a great starting position, so I hope we can do a very good start. And yeah, it's going to be a long, tough race, and everything is possible today.
You've been very consistent in your performance in this car, so what is it particularly about the 2020 Racing Point that talks to your driving style?
I think it's a very good car. You know, when you have a good car, it's easy to be consistent. So we're just figuring it out because the concept has changed a lot. So we made some improvements. We are understanding weekend by weekend, but I think we have a pretty good understanding now.
Where are you actually focusing the engineers' minds for the future races? I know your mind is on this race today, but what are you asking them to work on for the up-and-coming races?
Well, the usual stuff, you know, we just want more downforce are there, more straight line speed, pretty easy.
Okay, sounds simple. We know it's not so easy, but anyway, a few words in your own language, please.
Sí, tenemos un buen lugar para el día de hoy. Creo que hoy es una carrera especial para nosotros, que espero poder tener un gran resultado y cerrar el día de hoy con broche de oro.
Well, I'm down here at Alfa Romeo now. Antonio Giovinazzi, 18th on the grid. It's going to be a bit of a tough race, but I have to say, it's the temple of speed, this circuit. How good is it to drive this track? How excited do you get to get around this corner?
Yeah, you know, it's always nice for me to be here in Monza and drive here. You know, for me it's a special track, home Grand Prix. So, like you say, you know, for sure will be not easy to start from P18, but we need to do again a good start, and then we'll see where we are in terms of pace. But yeah, we just need to try to do our best.
Yeah, do you think you've got a better race car? Because obviously it's a one-stop strategy probably for you guys, but is it going to be a bit of a tough one for you? Do you think you can move up a couple of places?
Yeah, you know, I think if I saw about Friday, our race pace, you know, will be again a race with between Haas and Williams. So we'll see. You know, I think in the race everything can happen, and we need to just do a good strategy, a good first lap, and then we'll see.
Yeah, you'll be very hungry to catch up with your teammate and pass him as well, won't you?
Yes, it's a little bit more in front, so yeah, just do a good start and then we'll see. But of course, you know, like a team, we need to do a better result for the team, and this is our target for today.
And what about the team itself? Obviously, it's a little bit of a difficult season, but how good is the morale within the team? How happy is the team?
I think, like you say, just difficult season for us. And I think the 2 points that we got, we scored in the first race was something really good for us. But yeah, we don't need to give up for sure. You know, still a lot of race to do, still a lot of chance to take, and start from today.
Okay, and a few words in your own language.
Sì, sarà una gara non facilissima. Partiamo, diciamo, dalla 18ª posizione, però è un circuito dove alla fine ho bei ricordi e dove tutto, diciamo, dove è abbastanza facile sorpassare, quindi dobbiamo cercare solo di fare un buon primo giro e poi da lì fare una buona strategia e cercare di fare il massimo.
Right, thanks. Kimi, good to see you. And 14th on the grid, got to be happy with that. Still a lot of tricks from you on social media. We're going to see any of those today?
Yeah, obviously it's not what we want, but I think that was our speed yesterday, and you know, we try again today. It's not going to be easy, but we have to be up there as high as we can, and then see how it plans out. But hopefully we make it through the first few corners okay, and yeah, we go from there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of chat now about sort of seats, especially at Alfa Romeo. How much are you still enjoying your driving in a Formula One car?
I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't enjoy. Obviously, as a team, we want to be higher up, and everybody's more happy, better we do. But that's always like it is. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, you're coming up 41 years old in October, but the passion, is it still there enough to continue for next season? You want to be there?
Yeah, like I said, it's, you know, the passion doesn't disappear anywhere from this year to next year, but obviously we haven't decided anything yet, and we'll see. I think it's up to me to decide it, and I obviously have to do it at some point.
Yeah, and what about today's race? Obviously one stop. Where do you think you'll be able to get yourself by the end of the race? Are points possible, do you think?
Well, we obviously try, but it's not going to be easy, and I think, you know, we were 14th fastest in qualifying, so we try to make the best out of it, stay out of any issues in the first corners, and go from there.
Great, a few words in your own language.
No, varmaan aika hankala kisa tulee, mutta katsotaan mitä pystytään tekemään, että päästään sekoista mutkista kunnialla läpi ja mennään sitten.
So down at Haas with Roman Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen. Roman, first of all, it's pretty tight between you two guys. You're not the fastest Ferrari, but you're not far away from it with that Ferrari power. Reasonable day yesterday, you're happy with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, we always try to get into Q2, and Kev did that yesterday, which is good. And we managed to put one Ferrari behind us. So that is the positive. As I say, Ferrari is our benchmark, and we always try to see how we are compared to them. So today it's even hotter than it's been for the rest of the weekend, and let's see what it brings to us.
What do you find in the previous events where it's got hot on race day? Has that been to your benefit or to your detriment? Because normally hot is not good for a race car.
Yeah, I mean, we will struggle with brake temperature, engine temperature, pretty much every temperature you can name. But
driver temperature?
Yeah, most likely as well. But I guess it's the same for everyone. So I think more the conditions are extreme one way or the other, more opportunities there could be for us to try to benefit from it.
Okay. Now a few words in French, please.
Oui, on a un Grand Prix qui s'annonce assez intéressant. On a les Ferrari pas loin de nous. On est, je dirais, un peu dans un Ferrari Challenge avec les Alfa Romeo et les deux Ferrari officiels. Donc on va essayer de faire du mieux qu'on peut. Aujourd'hui, il semblerait qu'il fasse plus chaud que les derniers jours. Donc espérons que les conditions un petit peu plus extrêmes amènent des problèmes peut-être de fiabilité ou des petites surprises sur lesquelles on pourrait bénéficier.
Merci.
Merci.
So straight on to Kevin. You were lining up just one place ahead of your teammate. Maybe could have done a little bit more. You had that little gravel moment at the last part of qualifying, but overall that was the pace.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I knew that it would be really close with Kimi for that 14th position, and you know, I was in Q2, so there was nothing really to lose. I could either try all my best to get that 14th or be 15th. So yeah.
Now, the circuit here, of course, has evolved over the years. These cars now, a lot of downforce, a lot of tyre grip in comparison to what we used to have. But in terms of arriving into that big stop at the first chicane, just how much of a rush is that, and how stable is your car on the brakes?
I mean, because they have so much downforce nowadays, when you're then in a wake, which in the first corner in P15, you're going to be in a lot of dirty air. So you need to be really careful not to lock your brakes and just take care of your front wing in those two very tight corners, and then, yeah, try and make up some positions, of course, but it's not that easy here. It gets jammed quite a lot.
Now I see the big boss, Mr. Haas, is here this weekend. Does that change your mindset when you go racing? Do you think, okay, I don't want to be the one that drops the ball here, or do you just race free?
No, just race free, really. Try to, you know, when you're in our position, we need to try and score a point, put ourselves in the most likely position to benefit from any sort of safety car or people having problems. So you just really, you've got to go for it even more, I guess, because you're not going to score anything for any less than 10th.
Okay, so maximum attack this afternoon. When you look at the strategy with your engineers, presumably they also play in what the expected position of the opposition is. So of those around you, who are you under threat from, and who can you take some points off of?
Well, I think we've got Kimi and then Leclerc in front, and I think, you know, Leclerc is faster than us, but not a whole lot. So it's really about getting in front of Raikkonen, and
then that would be P14, and then you've got 4 cars that need to not finish or have problems, then you're in the points. So you've got to just try and maximize your chances.
Okay, well, we wish you luck with that. Now a few words in Danish, please.
Ja, glæder mig til at komme i gang. Det var en god dag i går, god tidtagning, og jeg har selvfølgelig kunne gøre det uden mine 2 hjælpere, Nillermann og Carlos, så tusind tak.
Right, I'm down now at Williams, and I've still got both drivers in front of me. George, Nicholas, 19th, 20th. I'm going to come to you first. Have you calmed down after yesterday?
I'm very calm, Johnny. I'm high school. No, it was obviously a bit of a mess yesterday, wasn't it, for everybody? Yeah, like I said afterwards, it's when you look at it and review it, there's not a lot more anybody could have done. It's just a complete mess around this track. I'm looking forward to the race and see what we can do.
Yeah, and again, it's great as well. You're so close together as well on pace. Now the race day comes. What is this battle going to end up with? Who's going to beat each other?
We'll see,
eh?
we'll see. I don't know. It should be, I think we should have a bit more race pace than the quali pace. Like I say, I'm looking forward to it. So
look at that.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you, Claire.
nice.
Spare pit stop, man.
Great stuff. I'll ask you a question about that as well. Claire obviously is still here. Frank back home. The history that they've done. What's it been like driving for them? But what about sort of seeing the cars in the past?
Yeah, you know, absolute privilege for me to be a part of a team, and for everybody, you know, who work week in, week out. You know, it's a real honour. We are going to, you know, truly miss Claire, Frank, the family being involved, because, you know, they've been such a huge part of this team. But from our side, we will still continue to go out there and drive as fast as we can to represent the Williams name.
Yeah, and what about you, Nicholas? Obviously joining the team this year. How fun has it been with the guys?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, yeah, in the short time I've been with the team from last year and as the race driver this year, you know, it's been an absolute privilege to represent such a wonderful team, and more importantly, you know, a really wonderful family. So, as George said, even though they're going to be leaving the sport, unfortunately, you know, we're still going to be giving our all to represent them to the best of our abilities, and, you know, try and get the Williams name back to where it belongs.
Yeah, I know, of course, you're going to be wanting to do a good job for Claire and everybody at Williams, and of course for Frank back home, Patrick Head, who was a big important part of this team. But what about this race for you too? Because it's probably going to be a one-stop, I guess. Is there any chance you could do something risky to get yourself a bit further up? Is there any chance?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of strategy, no, it's clear-cut one stop, which is pretty boring and not very exciting for anybody. But I think, you know, I think our pace is not going to be bad. We're going to be fighting on par with the Alfa and the Haas, and probably the Ferrari. So, you know, we've got Sebastian on the row ahead of us. You know, it's race day, and we'll be going out there fighting, and yeah, we'll try and stick it in there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Nicholas, this is the temple of speed, brilliant track to drive on. How eager are you to beat this man today?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to beat your teammate, and yeah, he's been finishing ahead of me in a few too many races for my liking. So yeah, I mean, definitely I'm hoping we're going to have a good race. It's a track that makes for great racing, and like George said, I mean, hopefully we're not just racing each other, and we're able to get in amongst the Haas and the Alfa and see what will happen from there.
You're going to make it easy for him?
Never. Well,
make it easy for him?
No, absolutely not.
Great.
Have
a good race.
Thank you.